So how do you define success? Like, everybody's got their own definition from a YouTube standpoint. Maybe it's getting 1 million plus subscribers. Maybe it's just going full time on YouTube and supporting your family. Maybe you want to make an impact and actually make cats' lives better. From a college standpoint, it could be to simply graduate, or maybe you want to graduate while also joining social clubs and networking, you know, cultivating the right relationships so that you could move forward in the workforce. Different definitions. And my question today, when we get to the end of this video, I want you to tell me if today's subject, based on where he started, talent he had, etc., 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 everything you learned along the way, was he ultimately successful? I'm just trying to make y'all think a little bit. Don't fight it. Today we're talking about Darren Mcfadden. What happened to Darren Mcfadden? We're gonna talk about his biggest wins, like breaking nearly every rushing record at the University of Arkansas. We're also gonna talk about his biggest L's, like losing a potential $227 million investment due to a shady financial advisor. Obviously, we're gonna also talk about everything in between, so sit back, relax, chill. Today I'm gonna tell you what happened to Darren Mcfadden. Let's get it.
Right now, stand out the window of my range and contemplating, am I sane? Have I sacrificed for fame? My occupation's on my brain.
You're cheating. Look at all your money. No, I'm not. I was winning.
Turn out, don't you
Turn
dare.
out, no. Turn out.
Turn around!
Mom, turn out.
Stop it!
Growing up with siblings can be tough. All your parents' finances have to be split. Their retentions gotta be shared. And if you like me and many others, you probably also have to share a room. Well, I only got one little brother, and even still, growing up sometimes, things felt a little bit crowded. Well, Darren Mcfadden, dude has 11 brothers and sisters. It's 12 of them, bro. Like, damn. Anytime you growing up in a household with that many people and you ain't rich, yo, things are gonna be tough. But Darren's issues went much deeper than just a simple lack of space. His mom was actually addicted to drugs, and sometimes it would get so bad that she would go as far as to steal from her kid. If you're Darren Mcfadden or anybody else who had to deal with something like that, it's gotta put you in a position where you don't know who to trust, and that could lead you to making a lot of bad decisions down the road. Guess I'm alluding into the $227 million. It was based on a bad decision, trusting the wrong person, but we'll get there. It's much later. Anyway, just to scale it up a bit and to show you how deep this well goes, Darren's mom's main supplier was Darren's older brother, who eventually had to do a stint in federal prison. Now, Darren's starting point in life was so far behind the majority of successful people that my personal thought is just making it out of that situation into a much like a whole different level of problems. Technically, you're already successful. So Darren attended high school in the same place he was born and raised, Little Rock, Arkansas. He was a 3-sport star, running track, playing baseball, and of course, playing football. Dude ran a 10, 8, and 100 in track, played some quarterback, also played some safety, and dude was a headhunter, bro. And of course, he played running back. Following his senior year, he was awarded the prestigious Landers Award, which goes to the top high school football player in Arkansas. At that point, he could have gone anywhere really, but he decided to stay home and attend the University of Arkansas. So Mcfadden touched down on campus as a freshman and only ever rocked the red shirt because the Razorbacks jerseys are cardinal and white. Now in 2005, the team was rebuilding, but they handed the true freshman the ball 176 times. He averaged over 6 yards per carry and gained 1,113 yards plus 11 touchdowns. Now, during his 3 years in college, Darren Mcfadden played in a beastly backfield. His two running mates, Felix Jones and Peyton Hillis, with Felix Jones finishing his career with nearly 5,000 all-purpose yards and 27 touchdowns. Peyton Hillis, who was basically the bruiser of the group, 240 pounds, finished his 4-year career with 12 rushing touchdowns and 11 receiving touchdowns. He had over 100 receptions and actually had slightly more receiving yards than he had rushing yards. All three of these guys would go on to have respectable NFL careers, with Felix Jones having the shortest career of the three, and he still played 6 years in the NFL. Now, based on the stats, you can see dude had a monster season, but this kid fresh out of high school had 2 games that stood out from the rest. He rushed for 187 yards versus South Carolina and 190 yards versus Georgia. Now, remember the Cardinals shirt I spoke about earlier? At this freshman season, Darren Mcfadden had rushed for more yards than any other freshman to ever wear said jersey. Dude won freshman of the year and never looked back. Now injuries happen in boxing. Busted up eyes, broken nose, concussions, I mean, you name it, broken hands, like all of that. But there's one body part that's not too commonly injured during a boxing match: your toe. So going into his second season, Darren Mcfadden was at a nightclub. Yeah, I know, football player, nightclub, you already know something bad's about to happen after this. So the story goes, Darren was at the club and some random cat, I don't know, probably not random, some person tried to steal his brother's car. Now I spoke about some of the things about having a sibling that could kind of suck growing up, but one of the dopest things about having siblings is you got somebody that always got your back no matter what. Dude tried to steal Darren brother's car, no haps. Darren run up on him, let's get it. So Darren gets into a fight with the dude. Somehow his shoe comes off during the fight. You know what I'm saying? I guess shoe wasn't tied tight. Who knows what kind of shoes? Maybe he had more casual shoes. I don't know, bro. I ain't about that's either way, his shoe comes off and he dislocates his toe. This is like right before football season, like maybe a couple weeks. Now that definitely wouldn't be his last injury, and it's not even the most bizarre. Although that's a pretty weird injury and, you know, way to get it anyway. And of course, we'll get to the rest as we continue. Now, despite the toe situation, Darren actually played in more games that year than in any other year. Dude carried the ball 284 times. He rushed for 1,647 yards and scored 14 touchdowns. He ate. He also put those high school quarterback skills to use. As the centerpiece of the Wildcat offense, dude actually threw 9 pass attempts and completed 7 of them. 3 of them went for touchdowns. Now Arkansas was pretty good this year, going 10-4, and Darren ended up finished second in the Heisman vote. Little ironic, he came up just short versus a quarterback who's a little bit undersized, Troy Smith. Check out my video on him if you haven't seen it. Now Troy Smith ended up beating out Darren Mcfadden by less than 100 vote points. And you remember how Darren almost rushed for 200 yards twice during his freshman season? Well, during his sophomore year, he made it happen with a 219-yard performance versus South Carolina, who apparently he killed every single year. All right, junior season, man, first 5 games, Darren Mcfadden was not playing with him. His toe was good, he was feeling healthy. He rushed for over 120 yards in each of the first 5 games that season, jumping out the gate like I am not finishing second in the Heisman this year. That joint is mine. And again, we know what he always seemed to do versus South Carolina, but this year, he actually rushed for 195 yards versus Bama. Now that Bama defense wasn't crazy like a lot of the Bama defense of today, but Nick Saban was there. I mean, that was his first year, but he was there. Mcfadden managed to improve on his crazy sophomore season, right? 1,600 yards as a sophomore, cool. 1,800, 16 touchdowns, and 21 receptions for 164 yards. He once again threw a few passes, this year totaling 123 yards through the air, and he threw 4 touchdowns, bro. Then when you add in his kick return yards, dude went over 2,400 yards all purpose. It was finally time for Darren to bring home that ever elusive, that hard to bring down Heisman trophy. Once again, he got caught with the stiff arm. Who remembers this guy? Tim Tebow. This dude was college football, bro. And that's who Darren ran up against this time. So no dice on the Heisman. Second place again. That's gotta suck, man. Always coming in second. Ugh. Anyway, at this point, Darren was the most decorated player in the University of Arkansas's football history, which gotta feel pretty nice being that, you know, it's just amazing accomplishment, and he happens to be from there. Considering all the dark times that he experienced growing up, to reach this level of success, pretty damn amazing. He was the 2nd all-time leading rusher in the SEC, and he was 7th all-time in rushing touchdowns in the conference. All right, time to wrap this up. So the 6'1", 211-pound running back wowed everybody at the 2008 NFL Combine. He came in there and shut it down. Dude ran a 4.340, and he was sure to have the fastest time amongst all running backs, if not, you know, the entire Combine. One issue. That was the year Chris Johnson ran. second place again. Either way, after his amazing career at Arkansas and his great NFL combine, McFadden was taken 4th overall by the Oakland Raiders, and maybe that was a little bit high, but Oakland Raiders 4-3, come on, y'all already know what it is, especially during that time. He played in Oakland from 2008 to 2014, but only had one 1,000-yard season during that entire stint. What happened? Well, during his second game as a Raider, McFadden injured his toe again. That ended up lingering for the rest of the season. Interim coach Tom Cable actually was fired for not playing McFadden later that year when he was cleared to come back. In 2009, more of the same, McFadden slowed by injuries. He opens up the 2010 season on a tear, but soon tore his meniscus in his knee. Dude got the surgery, came back and had his best season as a pro. 1,157 yards and 7 touchdowns, 47 receptions. I mean, beastly year. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to follow that up. Over the next 3 seasons, he didn't play a full year in any of them. Not in 2011, 12, or 13. Finally, 2014 rolls around and he does play the whole season, but he's no longer the featured back and only rushes for 534 yards. Now in 2015, his career saw a huge resurgence in Dallas. He's the lead back behind that beastly O-line, and he once again, for only the second time in his career, rushed for over 1,000 yards. Now he only had 3 touchdowns, but that's just more based on his role. Fantasy football owners were pissed. Then 2016 rolls around, and 2016 was a rough year for Darren Mcfadden. So first off, he had another crazy injury. Rumor was that he dove to catch his iPhone and broke his elbow. Now McFadden says the whole phone thing was just a fallacy and he actually just slipped down and broke his elbow. Either way, that is such a weird injury or a weird accident for an NFL player, especially a running back. Like, you just fell is odd. Unlikely, but not impossible, so who knows. Either way, the timing was horrible. Why? Well, this dude was coming into the league. We all know how that turned out. On November 28, 2017, Darren Mcfadden officially retired from football. But during that same time, here's what he was dealing with. He ran into a situation with a financial advisor. Dude had power of attorney and everything. Again, Darren trusted the wrong person. It happened. This dude misappropriated $15 million of Darren Mcfadden. Now, $3 million of that was supposed to be invested in Bitcoin, but the money was never invested. Basically, the advisor misappropriated or stole the money. Whatever he did with it, he did not do what he was supposed to do with it. Therefore, as far as I'm concerned, he's a thief and he stole the money. Now, had the money actually been invested, it's been reported by a bunch of different sources that as of just recently, that $3 million investment would have been worth $227 million. So he cost that man 227 bones, or 224 bones, I guess you could say, if you invested 3, because technically you're just recouping that. You feel what I'm saying? But bruh, 200 million. I mean, that's generational. That's different. Like, that's a different level. Think about it. Think about these richest quarterbacks get like 100 mil guaranteed, which is amazing. But 200 mil? Sheesh. After playing 10 years in the league, and I'm sure if you had 15 mil to invest and to move around, I mean, come on, bro. And again, that's just one of those things, man. It's tough. It's tough to say what he should have done because you need financial advisors. I think you just got to be a little bit more plugged in, and you can't just trust these dudes with your bread because they will over you. That's the only way I could put it. So as you can see, Darren McFadden's What Happened to story is a complicated one, man. He did so many great things, but due to injuries, he never really lived up to his potential in the NFL because he was pretty much always hurt. But he still managed to stick around for a 10-year career at the running back position, which shows you the talent that the cat possessed. And a 10-year NFL career, like, I don't really care how you slice it, that's gotta be success. Yeah, I'm answering the question for me. That's how I see it. I want to know how y'all see it though. But then post football, he should have been sitting on $200 million. Just, you know what I'm saying? And to have that happen now, he did sue that guy. There's a lawsuit going on, so I don't know exactly how that's gonna play out. I'm very curious, and if there's like a big settlement or something that pops off, you'll see that. You'll see that update video from me, because I want to know, and I'm sure y'all want to know too. Anyway though, that's gonna do it, man. That's what happened to Darren Mcfadden up to this point. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget, click the like button, share the video, and subscribe if you're brand new for more of these types of vids. Don't forget to turn your notifications on. Other than that though, I'm gonna holler at y'all next time. My name is FlemLo Rap.
Right now I'm staring out the window of my range and contemplating, am I sane? Have I sacrificed for fame? My occupation's on my